Written by Sam Hamm with art by Joe Quinones, colors by Leonardo Ito, and letters by Clayton Cowles. And this book begins with the people from Harvey's old neighborhood gathering for a peaceful march when Harvey Bullock readies a riot squad against Commissioner Gordon's orders, even turning off the radio, pretending it's breaking up. And I'm not saying he would get fired or anything, but definitely a demotion, a pay cut, reprimanding of some kind, maybe the worst possible beat on the block, because disobeying a hire like that typically doesn't end well. But around this time, young Drake drives in and unknowingly supplies spray paint to everyone as a riot does indeed ensue. It's only when Commissioner Gordon shows up that the police are forced to stand down, much to the surprise of Drake, who we see in his homemade Robin costume. And this is a good scene for Drake, one, because I kind of like the design of the Robin costume, and two, it gives the character a chance to see that not all cops are bad. Back at Wayne Manor, Bruce is admiring his giant new penny when Alfred informs him of what happened in Burnside and the mention of the vigilante. He then follows that up with info he dug up on Drake and provides him with a microfilm. We then catch up with Harvey, who is now beyond all reason and needs to flip a coin to make decisions. Later that night, he even knocks out an orderly and finally sees his face, where we are introduced to his alternate personality. And this is something I did make mention of in the last video, where we saw some darker impulses from Harvey, but nothing to really suggest a full-on split personality. Because over the course of those first two issues, Harvey did say that, yeah, sometimes he feels like he's got to be two different people, like he's got his more truer self, which he is around Barbara and he is around his old neighborhood, but when it comes to like all the politics and stuff up when he's working as the DA, he feels like he's got to be someone completely different. But all around still comes off as a guy who is fairly stable, which makes this shift like really sudden. I think what may have helped is if we actually saw Harvey do something, like actually shoot those muggers in the first issue. And the next day, Drake is invited to Wayne Manor as Bruce Wayne discovers that Drake's great-grandparents owned a fast-growing automotive business which they lost in a forced buyout by Bruce's great-grandfather. The two of them meet, and Drake wants Bruce to come forward and identify the arsonists, but says he can't. It's then that Drake pulls out a vial of battery acid that scarred Harvey, causing Bruce to react. And all I can say is, damn, this kid can take one hell of a beating. I mean, he gets thrown against a bookcase, Bruce breaks a table over him, and he's just on the floor and just kind of smiles at one point and gets back up, shrugs it all off, and I can tell you, if that were me, that would only end with one result: an ER. However, it turns out that it was just water, as Drake confesses to knowing that Bruce is really the Batman. Admiring the kid's tenacity, Bruce asks Alfred to set another plate for dinner. Around this time, Selina Kyle heads into the office of Barbara Gordon to try and land a tech job with getting rid of a computer virus. And going based on the name of the virus, it's pretty obvious she implanted it herself. It's then that some other police officers come in informing Barbara that Harvey has gone missing from the hospital, and as she leaves, Selina seems to have found something she was looking for. We then cut to Harvey, who turns out went to his office as he's going through his computer when a police officer enters and Harvey knocks him out and runs. The other officer gives chase and Harvey flips a coin and decides to head down to the subway, where he manages to escape and actually finds an abandoned section. And it's here we suddenly understand why villains really come to Gotham. It's because their hideouts are already pre-made and ready to go. Crazy clown that fell in a vat of chemicals? Well, we've got a chemical plant for you. Crazy penguin guy with a circus family? Well, there's a nice abandoned zoo with an Arctic section. Now I'm just waiting for the next series where they redo Mr. Freeze and he's hiding out in an abandoned hockey rink. And the issue begins to wrap up with dinner between Bruce and Drake, in which he takes him down to the Batcave where Drake says he's gonna need a helper. And it's there that we're teased with the caption, Robin and Batman, the Man Wonder, teasing and saying that Batman's gonna be the sidekick. Okay, all jokes aside, what can I say about Batman 89 issue number 4 except, because on one hand there are some compelling elements, like the growing relationship between Bruce and Drake and how they're seemingly tied together through their family's history, as well as the plight of the people in Burnside. On the other hand, the pacing of this book feels extremely slow and kind of seems like we're still in the setup phase of everything, and given that there's only 2 issues of this miniseries left, for me, I'm starting to see that it might be a little hard to have both a climax and a resolution that's satisfying. I mean, it took 3 issues for Harvey to become Two-Face, 1 for him to escape and find out his lair, and he still got to, you know, do all of his planning, and we're supposed to have, you know, a big epic fight between Batman, Robin, and Harvey. I guess Catwoman's gonna be in there somewhere. And that was another thing. I was hoping the inclusion of Catwoman was gonna bring an extra dynamic to the situation because, you know, she did play a really big part of Bruce's life in Batman Returns. Because as of now, she seems like she's here just because the writer wanted it. I'm also a little iffy on Bruce, like, just readily accepting Drake as his protege, because, you know, even though he knows that Drake's been out there doing some of the crime-fighting stuff, with this version of Bruce, I don't feel like he would be so okay with putting someone else in harm's way. And despite how people might feel about the movie Batman Forever, one aspect I think that Joel Schumacher did at least have going in the right direction was that Bruce was just telling Dick Grayson, just, no, this is not gonna happen. And it wasn't until Dick proves himself to Bruce that Bruce was like, all right, we're a team now. With this, it does feel more like, okay, we've got 2 issues left. We gotta get a move on. And the art continues to be a mixed bag for me. Some scenes are okay. Like, I still like the character models of Harvey, and especially after he became Two-Face, I really like that design. But then when it comes to others, specifically Bruce, it just continues to look extremely weird to me. And overall, Batman 89 issue number 4 continues to be an average experience, I'd say. And I'm just hoping that the next 2 issues really stick the landing. With that, I'm going to give Batman 89 issue number 4 a 6.5 out of 10. So Batman 89 issue number 4. What did you think about this book? If you've read it, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. And if you like this video, I'd love it if you'd smash that like button, share it with some friends, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and ring that notification bell for more comic book content. And if you're wondering what to watch next, consider one of these 2 videos. Alright, take care, have a great day, and as always, stay geeky.